everybody. Welcome to Dubs Talk Live, brought to you by FitAid. The Warriors have won 4 straight games. That is tied for the longest streak in the West, tied for the Kings, with the Kings right now. And it's the first time the Warriors are 3 games over 500 this season. And how does all of this fit into some big picture news? Well, it's likely that Steph Curry will be back on Sunday when the Warriors go on the road to face the Lakers. So with all of this momentum and good vibes the Warriors have right now, how are you feeling about this part of the season, Monte, and the Warriors trying to climb up the standings?
Much better than I did a week ago. The defense is starting to come along. You know, the first half wasn't great, but the last 2 games in the second half, the defense has just been phenomenal. And if they play defense at that level when it matters most, if they just stay in games in the first half and turn it up in the third quarter, they're going to beat a lot of teams. And I talked to Steph yesterday, and he didn't say when he'd be back.
Okay.
He just said, it's getting really close.
He gave me that smile, didn't
yeah,
he?
It's getting really close.
Okay.
And so Sunday, I think, is very, very possible. So when you have a team that's won 4 in a row, and let's emphasize, you also want to win tomorrow, because it'll be a downer if they lose tomorrow, the getaway game. But if they were able to win tomorrow against the Pelicans, who are still without Zion Williamson, and then take that 5-game road home winning streak on the road, that's when the big test is going to come.
Yeah.
Something else Steph said, you know, top 5 at home, bottom 5 on the road.
Okay.
And so keep that in mind. And so that's something they have to fix if they want to keep this thing going.
Yeah, the Warriors 26-7 at home, and yes, they have the second game of a back-to-back against the Pels tomorrow. You were casually talking about this one-on-one chat that you had with Steph Curry. That's because this is Warriors insider Monte Poole. I'm Kerith Burke. Did Steph tell you anything else that you want to get to?
Well, you know, I asked him about the Western Conference and all the changes that happened, you know, before the All-Star break. And he basically said that it's going to be very interesting because you don't know how things are going to come together. When there's a lot of change in a roster, you don't know how it's going to come together. The Clippers they brought in 4 new players. They've been struggling. The Mavericks brought in Kyrie Irving. They were struggling. Tonight, they may have found something. Okay. But they lost 3 games after they brought in Kyrie Irving. KD's been back for 1 game. They played the Hornets. You're supposed to win that game, even if KD doesn't play. So I think what Steph is saying is that we'll see how things shake out in the coming weeks, see how fast teams adapt to their new personnel, because just because you add good players doesn't mean it's going to work. Okay. And I think that's what he was basically saying.
That's interesting because there are people who are maybe screaming at the television like, I wish the Warriors added somebody else. They did add GP2. Are you noticing that Steph and GP2 are sitting together on the bench?
Yeah.
They've got their own little buddy comedy going, actually. It is good vibes right now. The third quarter Warriors are back. We saw it against the Blazers. We saw it against the Clippers tonight. The Warriors held the Clippers to 16 points in that third quarter. They held the Blazers to 17 points. But both of these were comeback wins for the Warriors. And maybe they don't like being in those kind of deficits, but if they can dig themselves out and get these wins, a win is a win is a win.
Well, what happens is when you're able to come back against teams in the second half, it just does so much for your confidence. You begin to believe that you can win any game. And if you have a bunch of games like this and you don't come back in the second half, you can hang a little bit and your face gets long and your body language starts to go south. But when you win back-to-back games like this where you fall behind early, and not just behind, but by double digits early.
Behind.
Yeah, you know, where your fan base is going, what's going on out here? We're getting our tails kicked. And then you come back in the second half, and you don't just win, but you blow them off the floor. You win by double digits. I mean, that is psychologically a bonus for what this team needs right now because you know, they know there's going to be a lot of tight games. And I think this is good for them in terms of where they're going from here, winning games that they could be losing. Because early this season, a lot of the games that they could have been losing, they lost.
Yes. All right, so the Warriors turning that around. There was a Twitter roller coaster, I would say, between at halftime when the Warriors were 3 of 22 from 3, and then this third quarter, the explosion here, somebody calling it a classic third quarter Warriors avalanche. Indeed, Jordan Poole played a huge part in this comeback tonight. He arrived at 34 points, but we got to say it was a rough first half for him, but he kept attacking. Jordan doesn't get down necessarily in games.
Right.
And they need him. He's always like, next play, next 3 I'm going to make, next 3 I'm going to make.
Yes.
And then those 3 start falling.
I'm going to tell you something that happened, though.
What happened?
He got a technical foul in this game.
Number 11, by the way, this
yes,
season.
his 11th of the year. When you
Yeah.
get to 15, that's your limit. Draymond's at 15. If he gets to 16th, then he has to sit out for a game. But Jordan got the technical foul, and it seemed to light a fire under him and the team. Because they took off after that.
Yeah.
I mean, he was angry. He got clobbered on a shot, and there was no foul. And he didn't get the teed up immediately. He went back on defense, and he kept jabbering until he got his money's worth. And then he got the tee.
Then he got the tee. All right.
But, he got the tee with 7:38 left in the third. The Warriors took off after that. I mean, they owned the quarter, and Jordan was a huge part of that. 22 points in the third quarter.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to tell you that Jordan Poole needs to get a technical foul every game.
Not what he's saying. Not what he's saying.
But what I am saying, and Jordan, I asked Jordan about this, and he said, I asked him, was it coincidental? And he basically said, maybe not, I mean.
How long of a pause before he answered that? And did he give you the eyes?
What he said was, I don't know about me personally, but it fired the team up.
Sure, okay.
And so I get you.
Yeah,
I hear you. Yeah.
Okay, because a tee can go the wrong way. That can be the moment the wheels start to fall off. But I think that's a good sign that Poole is harnessing his passion, his fire as well. And Steve Kerr said something interesting that Jordan has also been working on, with the help of some coaching, using his incredible speed to create easier shots.
Yeah.
We know that Jordan has speed. We know that he's got great handles. How can he use those skills to serve him a little better? And we're seeing that.
Well, yeah, I think what Steve is saying, Steve was asked about what we call the YOLO shots, you know. You only live once, fire it up, you know, where Jordan will come down and he'll jack up a 30-foot shot with 8 seconds into the shot clock. And Steve was asked to put that in context of what Steph did when Steve first took over. We all saw the famous video where Steph takes a shot and Steve is like,
Steve's his head is in his hands
and the shot goes in.
Yeah, and then he just walks away shaking his
and
head.
Steve basically said that when you look at the stats and you see a guy shooting 40% or better from three, you kind of live with those because they're going to come. And even Draymond said, I still think some of those shots are crazy.
Sure.
But they've kind of earned the right to take them occasionally. It's going to happen. When you're a good three-point shooter or a great three-point shooter, they're going to happen. And what Steve was saying to Jordan is that you will have three-point shots, but also keep in mind that, you have your great speed. So you have other ways you can hurt defenses, not just jacking up a three. Sometimes you can use that speed, you can fake a three and get to the hoop, And so I think he's just saying to Jordan, use all of your weapons, and use them judiciously, which, he's young, he's learning, it doesn't always happen. And, we all say that there are a lot of guys in this league who will come up and they will take a shot that makes you go, what's he thinking? And Jordan is going to do that periodically. He did it tonight, but again, he played so well.
Yeah.
And he did so much in that third quarter.
Yep.
It was just, it was a takeover from that third quarter. When he got that technical foul, the Warriors were down 6, okay? When the quarter ended, they were up 15.
Okay, that was a spark right there.
Yes,
that
big difference.
Was a spark. All right, so Jordan Poole had 5 threes in this game. We know Klay Thompson can hit the 3 as well. But the story of this game for Klay was the fact that he had his first double-double of the season, and that included 11 rebounds, a new career high. And rebounding is something that the coaches have encouraged, specifically Steve Kerr and Bruce Frazier-Q, saying, as you get older and as you're coming back from these injuries, you can evolve your game.
Yes.
You're going to be playing small forward more. How about getting some of those boards? How about stepping up as a leader? Klay is taking that advice seriously.
Yeah, I asked Steve this before last season. I asked him, are Steph, are Klay and Andrew Wiggins in some ways interchangeable? And he said, yes, they are. They are.
Okay.
Yeah, and he said by that he's saying that they can both play 2, 3, and occasionally some small ball 4. And what he was saying was that they can guard 2, 3, and 4, and they can also penetrate as well as shoot the 3. But he was also saying this, that whoever Wiggins can guard, generally Klay can guard the same guy, and vice versa. So what did they want Wiggins to do in the postseason? Rebound. And he did.
Yeah.
And right now with Wiggins out, they need somebody else to kind of fill that void. Klay is the logical guy to do it because he's basically Wiggins' replacement at the small forward.
Yeah.
So 11 rebounds tonight. I think it was 7 or 8 last night. So seeing Klay rebound like this is huge for him. It just gives his game another dimension because people still see him as a shooter first and everything else later.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's see if Klay talked about his rebounding night or his thoughts at large because he just sat down at the podium.
how increased has the focus level been defensively lately?
I thought it was great tonight. I mean, holding them to 21% from three is always a great job. I think our attention to detail when it comes to knowing personnel is at all-time high, and we're trending in the right direction. So it's definitely been great.
What changed for you guys at halftime that kind of spurred that second half turnaround?
Not much, to be honest. I mean, we just missed good looks in the first half, and I think those went down in the second. And I think Jordan Poole was incredibly great tonight. I mean, 12 free throw attempts. He was just pushing the pace. We need a night like that from him, and he played incredible.
Big third quarters were signature of you guys during your championship runs.
Mm-hmm.
Having been able to turn 2 games in a row around in the third quarter, just what does that say about what this team is finding and the grit that you guys are gaining right now?
I think that says that we still got so much talent on this team, and we are capable of great spurts that can put teams away early. And when we play with together, it's a beautiful sight to behold, and tonight was an example of that.
Clay, what do you think about that wild sequence where Jordan fell into E40, came back on the court, made that corner three-pointer, had the crowd rocking here?
That was great hustle by JP. That's why he got rewarded, and it felt great to hear Chase Center get loud, and that was just an incredible momentum shifter. So just a great overall night by Jordan. I mean, he led us tonight, and I'm just incredibly proud of him for bouncing back after, not the best shooting games in the last 2 or whatever, but that does not affect him. He's such a great player.
Well, kind of off that, when can you feel he's going to kind of catch fire after his slow start that he had tonight?
When he gets going to the cup and makes those tough lays and he gets some free throws, his whole game opens up after that, and it opened up our whole offense.
You had a career high 11 rebounds. How does that, in regular season, how does that make you feel in light of the conversation you had with Q?
Makes me feel really good. It's something I'm going to continue to emphasize. So hopefully I continue to have some big rebounding nights. I think I talked about it previously about just rounding out my whole game, and tonight was an example of that.
Hey, Clay, Draymond flirted with a triple-double for the second straight game. He was, roaming around the paint for you guys, just kind of like a free safety. Do you feel like he's still at the peak of his powers right now?
Yeah, it's Draymond Green. He's one of the best, most complete players I've ever played with. He's our engine, too.
While increasing your rebounding, how much do you think it makes a difference in your game, just being a playmaker like you were today in the third?
I think it opens up a whole new side of our offense when I can push the ball off the rim. Defense is already going to gravitate toward me so much that I can get somebody else open. And that feels just as good as making a shot.
Do you construct your paper airplanes based on style or to sustain flight?
I got one style, and that's like an F-16, so beware. Yeah. Freaking beast. All right, we done? Oh, that was a good one. Look at that.
Clay asking, are we done? Are we done?
Hey, it's Clay.
All right, I want to go back to something Steve Kerr said about Clay, that he's just more poised lately. He's in a better frame of mind, and that Clay can withstand a rough patch or a rough game. And that's really important because at the start of the season, you saw how much he wanted to be his old self, how much he was chucking the ball, but then also Clay revealed that he was letting social media comments get to him too much, or stories criticizing how he was playing. Thinking back to the start of the season, there was a loud conversation about whether Clay should be coming off the bench, those sort of things. Clay has transformed, especially in this new year, and it's nice to see him Maybe putting that noise aside, being a little bit more of that Zen Clay that we know.
Yeah, he got off the social media thing. It wasn't just social media. It was also the talking heads on TV.
It was, yeah.
Charles Barkley, said something that Clay really. And so I think with Clay, he's always been that guy who could, in the first quarter, go like 1 for 6. In the second quarter, go like 2 for 7. And in the third quarter, go like 7 for 8.
There you go. Sure.
Yeah. He's always been that guy. Yeah. So I don't think he ever loses confidence. But I think what happened early this season is that he was going beyond himself to do things. And his teammates reeled him in and basically said, "Hey, yo, Clay, look at what we're doing here." And they showed him some of the shots he was taking on video. Yeah. And it was really kind of hijacking the offense.
The shot turnovers.
Yes. And so I think, and you saw after that, you saw a change in Clay, but he's adding things as he goes along now. With Steph out, with Wiggins out, you see him playmaking more. You see him being a part of things. Normally, he's just running around looking for an open 3, which he does so well.
Yeah.
But you see him now, he's making plays for other guys, and his rebounding, you don't think he's going to get 11 rebounds every night. He doesn't need to. But to see that he's aware that he can do it, and that there will be nights when he gets 6, 7, or 8, he'll take it every single time, especially you can get that if you can keep that going when Wiggins gets back.
Yes.
So I think that's the thing about Clay now is that he's just rounding out his game. He's becoming more than a shooter, which he always was, but he's becoming so good at some of the other stuff that you can only recognize it and give him credit for it.
This next phase in his career is exciting to watch because Clay will take advice from people that he respects. So he'll take a listen to that. All right, when we come back on Dubs Talk, brought to you by FitAid, little JK talk. We're going to look at that plus-minus column and also touch on Draymond. He's playing such an important role on the defense. Also nearly had a triple-double. So maybe an overdue Draymond Green conversation when we come back.
Dubs Talk Live is presented by FitAid Clean Energy and Sports Recovery, the energy drink for athletes. FitAid Energy is naturally sweetened with only 15 calories, no sucralose, no aspartame, and no compromises.
Okay, YouTube.
Hey, everybody. Nice to see the same YouTube names. Dino says hello from Manila. And we have this, wait, where was this comment? Shoot, Carlos says, gotta get Kuminga ready to guard KD. Interesting. What do you think about that?
He's going to get his chance. He's going to get his chance,
Okay.
They don't see him for another, 12 days or 10 or 11 days, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But you do realize that when the Warriors play the Suns, that only so many people will take a chance at get a crack at KD, and Kuminga's got to be one of them.
Well, he needs to be hungry for that crack as well, and I think he is.
Well, he always says he wants to guard the best player.
Okay. Here you go, sir. One of the best in the league.
Here's Kevin Durant, all 7 foot,
Okay.
All-7 foot first ballot Hall of Famer.
Who is going to stare you down and want to toy with you. Let's just be honest. He is going to want to play.
And KD has the arsenal to do that. I mean, we've seen him make fools of defenders before, so
Sure.
JK got to be careful there, but he's going to get a chance.
Yes. All right, we are getting the question, and I know this is going to come up a lot. Where is Andrew Wiggins? So this is the 6th straight game that he's missed for personal reasons. The first one he missed for personal reasons goes back to February 14th. So it also covers the All-Star break. It's been a long time.
It's been, 2.5 weeks.
But as long as the Warriors keep saying it's a personal matter. Steve Kerr said it was a family matter at one point. That's all the information that we have. And because it's personal and private, reporters we're not prying into that.
No.
What's appropriate for us to ask is when might he be coming back?
Right.
But so far that answer is unclear too.
Yeah, TMZ may find out something and go with it, but that's not us.
We're not TMZ. Yeah. Welcome back to Dubs Talk Live, brought to you by FitAid. Looking at the box score, you can see Jonathan Kuminga was the star off the bench, really the only guy who had anything going tonight. 7 of 12, but 19 points. Also a plus 19. You can see 17 boards there as well. Another one of those highlight reel dunks from Kuminga, if I recall. So
yes.
What are you seeing him put together at the end of the season here? Because playoffs are going to be an important time for him.
Yeah, he's just being more careful with his offense. And defensively, he's locked in. You know, there's going to be times he makes mistakes, but his mistakes on defense tend to be mistakes of commission. You know, it's not what he's not doing. Sometimes he's doing a little too much, and that leads to a foul sometimes. But his effort on defense is almost always there, even if tactically he makes a mistake here and there. But again, that's expected. But offensively right now, he has been pretty solid in terms of efficiency. Tonight, obviously 7 of 12, 3 of 4 from 3, which is tremendous for him. 7 rebounds, so, you know, a couple of steals, a block.
Sure.
It was a nice performance for JK, and he made an impact. He was plus 19 over 29 minutes, so you don't get that every night.
Yeah.
But if you do get that every night, then he's going to get 29 minutes every night.
Yes.
Which is what this team could really use.
Yeah, his development in year 2 has been interesting to follow. Some ups and downs, but some ups right now. Draymond Green nearly had a triple-double. This is after he nearly had a triple-double against the Blazers, too. So some common Draymond stat lines, 11, 9, and 9. What stood out to me tonight wasn't necessarily about Draymond, but that this was the first game in a long time where the starters had a chance to rest in the fourth quarter. That's important for their bumps and bruises this time of year. It's also important considering they have a back-to-back tomorrow.
Yeah, to see Draymond and Clay and Loon all play less than 30 minutes tonight.
Yes.
That's huge. I mean, the Pelicans, you know, they're not a juggernaut. I mean, they were early this season. They were really, really good when they had Zion, but Zion has been out now for almost 2 months, and they haven't been the same team. They're 7 and 18, I think, since he's been out. So. He won't be playing tomorrow, and the Warriors need to be able to take advantage of that. They're at home. It's the getaway game. So I think if you're looking at what all these guys on this team want and how important they realize this stretch of the season is, I expect them to be mentally ready. Let's see if they fall behind early like they did the last 2 games and have to come back. But I think maybe tomorrow they will start off a little bit better. Okay, that getaway game, you said it's so important. It would be a chance for the Warriors to have a 5-game win streak. They've only done that once this season. It would be a chance for them to keep capitalizing on their Chase Center record, which right now is 26-7. But yeah, it's the momentum or the vibe that the team has right now. And doing this without Steph Curry could actually be one of those developments that helps. Everybody else needs to figure out how to contribute, and then you put Steph Curry back into this. So we always talk about the blessings in disguise that come from Steph's injuries, but this could be precisely what the rest of the team needs while Steph is away. Yeah, I think it's been helpful to everybody. I mean, Draymond's going to be Draymond, Loon's going to be Loon, but for guys like Jordan, even Clay, I mean, Dante, JK, those guys all have taken a little bit of a leap since Steph has gone out, and so they're doing things that they won't necessarily have to do when Steph is in, but now we know they can do them. And so I think in the long run, this team should be better for it. They got 19 games to go now. I still think they need to win like 13 of those games to be able to lock down, to be able to avoid the play-in tournament. But I think they're getting, as they win games, as they stack up wins, as we say, it becomes a little closer and a little clearer that they may be able to get to avoid that falling out of the top 6, which is what they want. Yeah. All right, we're going to look ahead. We're going to take a look in the G League, actually. There's somebody there whose name you should know. It's Lester Quinones. We've got some numbers for you. He had a pretty big game tonight. And we'll talk about what we can expect now that he's on a 10-day with the Warriors. That's next on Dubs Talk Live.
Dubs Talk Live is presented by Fit Aid Clean Energy and Sports Recovery, the energy drink for athletes. Fit Aid Energy is naturally sweetened with only 15 calories, no sucralose, no aspartame, and no compromises.
Steve, I got to start by asking my producer, Dan, a question. How much time will we have for this next block? Dan, can you hear me? Okay. Okay, great. All right, thank you. All righty.
I like the t-shirt.
Okay. NorCal Zone says, I think we can best anyone in 7 games, but I would prefer not to play the Suns. The Suns, well, anytime you add KD to the team, I think you instantly become a favorite.
You don't want to play KD because you know how good he is, but if that's who you play, I think a 4-5 Suns Warriors series would be phenomenal.
What round is that happening? Oh gosh, is that first round?
Yeah, it'll be first round.
No, I don't know if my heart can take that much.
Hey, I mean, I think they might be 4-5 right now. As a matter of fact,
I don't know if I can take that.
But think about it. That would be a phenomenal series.
Yes.
One way or the other. I mean, that's a fun series with a great chance for drama, for great games. So, yeah, I mean, I think that's
Drama with the capital
that's
D.
possible. We'll see if
Yeah.
Phoenix can catch the Kings. Right now, Phoenix, there's a gap still between the Kings and the Suns.
Okay.
But, if the Suns rise up, who knows where they can end up.
Oh, my goodness. Jay is saying it's my birthday. Happy birthday,
Happy birthday.
Jay.
Hey,
There
happy
you go.
birthday. We would sing, but nah.
Fans are really hoping that the Warriors get that win tomorrow to stretch that win streak to 5. That would be amazing as they get ready to hit the road. Got to take care of business, though. Otis says, yeah, Suns Warriors first round playoff series would be too much. The league would love it.
The league
All
would
right.
love it.
The league would love it.
So would Raymond.
Welcome back to Dubstock, brought to you by FitAid. All right, so the Warriors have won their 4th consecutive game, as I mentioned off the top. Longest win streak in the West that is tied with the Kings. Golden State sitting there at number 5. Oh,
Who's at
gosh,
4?
Monte. There's the Suns.
If the season ended today,
But there you go. Man, Denver just pulling away with things, though, with 44 wins. The rest of it kind of clustered in there, but steadily the
that's what I'm
Warriors
saying.
have been moving
There's a
up.
little bit of a gap between the
Warriors
Kings
have
and the
been moving
Suns.
up. Yeah.
Yeah, the Warriors. I mean, another thing Steph said last night is that he liked to get a first round home court advantage.
Sure.
Meaning the top 4. You know, he said that's best case scenario is get that. But of course, if they get to the worst case scenario to Steph is the 6th spot.
Okay.
Because you don't want to deal with the play-in tournament, but he still thinks they have a chance to get to 4, which yeah, I mean they could. I mean the Kings, or the Suns are in front of them it's really close right now.
Yeah.
The Suns are 4th right now, so we'll see how the Suns do, how the Warriors do, but it's going to be so much fun watching these last month of the season, see how it goes, because you got all these teams that are fighting for it.
All right, well, the Warriors are going to have a new guy on the roster. He signed a 10-day, and then they assigned him to Santa Cruz. That's where he played tonight. It's Lester Quinones. Lester had a big game tonight in the G League. 32 points. Actually, these stats come from Dalton Johnson. Let's make sure that we note that. 32 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists in 31 minutes, and he is expected to join the Dubs tomorrow for that Pelicans game. It was smart of the Warriors to add this player because now the two-way game availability
A little more leash.
have changed.
Yeah, you give a little more rope for both Ty Jerome and Anthony Lamb now. They had already hit 90, which is the limit for them when you have a 14-man roster. But now you add a 15th man on the roster, even if it's Lester for 10 days, you buy that time to give Anthony Lamb and Ty Jerome a little more space and give your team a little more space to figure out what you want to do.
Okay, so the Warriors on the upswing, have some reserves coming back, and oh yeah, Steph Curry very soon. The Warriors for the first time this season, 3 games over 500, and you can feel the momentum building. Thanks for watching Dubstock Live, brought to you by FitAid. We'll see you tomorrow. All right. John says, dang. 32 points for Lester. That's good.
Well, Lester's been shooting the lights out.
He's playing like
Yeah.
a guy who knows that he just got his call up.
Yeah, but I mean, even
Good.
the last game.
Yeah.
he's been shooting the lights out. So,
Yep.
I mean, I was happy. He would be the guy you add to the roster just because he's the way he's been shooting the ball lately. So, 32 tonight, he's playing. So, give him credit.
I mean, the Warriors use their G League as an extension. I mean, it's really, yes, that's an important place. They run the same types of plays. The G League players are prepared when they arrive here to make an impact.
Now, to clarify, he's on the Warriors roster.
Yes.
So, but he's playing in Santa Cruz, which you can do. It's no different than if Patrick Baldwin Jr. goes to Santa Cruz. He's still on the Warriors roster, the
It's a
NBA
10-day
roster.
contract.
Right. But in case of Quinones, it's a 10-day contract. Whether in the case of Patrick, obviously he's on a
rookie
standard.
deal.
He's on a standard deal. You know.
But I understand your point about moving in between.
Yeah, you can. I mean, you don't leave the roster just because you play down there. Is what I'm saying. And so I think people can be a little bit confused about that. And that's where Lester is right now. We don't know when or if he will play here. But, he's on the roster officially.
Okay, smart move of the Warriors to add him. Because we have a back-to-back, let's make this a quick goodbye.
Yay!
We'll see you guys again tomorrow in about 24 hours. Bye.